Hey everyone, Kyle Walker here. If you love cars, fixing things, or just want to understand your vehicle better, you're in the right place. I share hands-on tips, smart driving advice, and straight-up car talk without the fluff. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around till the end. You don't want to miss what's coming up. Let's get into it.
Having received a driver's license and bought a car, it is worth some time to drive on not very busy highways and workout parking. In places where this action can be done as easily as possible. It is necessary to do this not only because your driving experience is still too little, but also because you need to get used to your new iron friend and feel the dimensions of the car. At this stage, many people wonder how to feel the dimensions of the car if I am a beginner. It is the feeling of dimensions that allows you to make any maneuvers without violating your own and others' safety. Dimensions. Dimensions usually refer to the height, length, and width of a vehicle. But a car is not just static, it also has dynamic dimensions. Those who have studied carefully in driving school know that there are 6 basic dimensions: the straight line that continues the wheels, left and right, a line extending the front bumper, rear bumper, front axle, rear axle. These parameters are completely different for different brands and need to get used to them not only for beginners, but also for quite experienced drivers. You can feel them well only after some time. This is the experience of traveling on this particular car. Only having felt his car, the driver will be able to easily fit into a dense stream of cars or park in a very small and inconvenient place. The same feeling allows you to bypass bumps in the road or move on rough terrain. To determine behind the wheel of a novice is quite easy. Many of them during the trip try to stretch their neck and try to consider the road in front of the bumper. With such drivers, you can often see various minor damages to the bumper, front and rear, or headlights. All of this is, more often than not, the result of unfortunate parking. You can try to avoid this, because even minor repairs often cost a very tidy sum. Developing a sense of dimension. In a good driver, the feeling of the car is automatic, as if subconsciously, and the goal of any beginner is to reach just such a level. To the question of how to get used to the dimensions of a beginner, the answer is unambiguous. It is necessary not to be lazy and to engage in self-training. Experienced motorists and driving instructors talk about several groups of possible complexes. Passing a complex of individual it is possible to self-prepare with the use of improvised or stationary means. Individualized preparatory work with the car. Undergoing training using assistive electronic devices. Individual vehicle preparation. On how comfortable, and most importantly, correctly the driver sits behind the wheel will depend on the adequacy of driving. Proper seating reduces unnecessary driver movements and speeds up the decision-making process. This is achieved by ensuring that the driver has the correct position of hands and feet and, in addition, a sufficient view without unnecessary tilting and peering. In order to establish the optimum seating position, the driver needs a special fitting. Adjusting the driver's seat and steering wheel. Sit in the driver's seat and adjust it only to suit yourself. Ideally, fully depress the clutch and move the seat forward or backward so that it is comfortable and you do not feel the urge to stretch. Adjust the backrest so that you don't have to move your whole body when you work with your legs. Do the same with the steering wheel. Between the rim of the steering wheel and your knees should fit the palm of your hand, and the other hand at the same time should be stretched above the steering wheel and touch its top point with the wrist. Read also, emergency measures in case of a car fire. This will allow you to feel as comfortable as possible during the ride and not be distracted by stiff arms, legs, or back. If you feel discomfort after a short ride, try the changes again. Adjusting the rear view mirrors. Beginners quite often underestimate the importance of mirrors and try to perform parking or other maneuvers almost at random. They risk damaging their own or someone else's car. Adjusting the mirrors is not difficult at all. The driver should be able to see the entire rear window in the rear view mirror. When driving, the rear fenders at door handle level and the road should be visible in the rear view mirrors. If parking is a problem, you can reposition the side mirrors just before parking or install overlays on the blind spots. Exercises to automatize the feel of the car. There is quite a large variety of training options for inexperienced drivers, which allow you to feel the dimensions of the car in the shortest possible time. We want to familiarize you with the most effective ones. Beacons. This is the simplest, but from this no less useful way to feel the dimensions. For this method, we will need the following, absolutely safe for the car: cones of any bright color, plastic bottles filled with sand. Brightly colored flags can be stuck into the bottles for better visibility. Bags or cardboard boxes stuffed with something very soft. Old tires. The next step will be the installation of these beacons. Now you can proceed directly to the work. The driver must stop his car so that he front bumper, first the central part, and then the sides, touch the installed beacon. It is important to touch it, not to knock it down or not to reach it. This is obtained from about the 10th to 15th time. Then the same exercise should be practiced with the rear bumper. These exercises should be brought to automaticity. After passing the first two stages, you need to move on. Mark the contours of two cars with beacons at a distance of 9 to 10 meters. Then we start practicing the method of parallel parking, which is considered quite difficult. In the sand bottles, we put tall sticks that will imitate gates and start practicing the passage. At first, the distance between the bottles should be approximately equal to the width of your car, plus 1 meter. Then gradually narrow the distance, reducing it each time by 10 centimeters. The exercise will be considered practiced if you can conduct the car in a gap that exceeds the dimensions of the vehicle by only 10 centimeters. Read also, advantages and nuances of the implementation of the service, sober driver, collision. To perform this exercise, we will need several empty plastic bottles. They are very susceptible to deformation and at the same time produce a very loud sound, which is almost impossible not to hear. We lay the bottle on the road and try to run over it first with one wheel, and after achieving stable success, with the other. The exercise only seems simple, but without a good sense of the dimensions of the car to do it is almost impossible. Gradually this task can be made more difficult. At first we try to do the same thing, but at a higher speed. Here it is important not to exceed 60 km/h, as you can get into an emergency situation. The most difficult variant of such training will be to run over the tire on the object while making a maneuver of turning. Even not all drivers with a lot of experience can cope with such a task at the first attempt. Tags. A fairly common way to learn to feel the dimensions of the vehicle will be the method of installing tags. It is most often used by women. It can be done in several ways, but the simplest, in our opinion, will be the following variant. We will need a large ruler. Apply it to the hood at the level of the center of the front wheel. The other end should rest against the windshield. In the place of intersection, you need to put a mark. You can do this with a marker, a small colored sticker, or duct tape. Then you need to do the same action with the second front wheel. These marks will help to drive the car for the first time and better cope with other training. Parts of the car can also be a reference point for the driver. For example, many novice drivers can see deflectors on the hood. They mark the front edge of the hood very well. The bulges above the headlights, installed by the manufacturer, can be of great help. Things are a little more complicated when it comes to marking the rear of the car. Drivers of crossovers or hatchbacks quite often focus on the rear windshield wiper. Drivers of sedans can try to install on the very edge of the antenna, which, however, is not always convenient. Electronic equipment. Today, many vehicles are equipped, even in the basic version, with various driver assistance systems, but they also take some getting used to. These systems can also be installed by yourself. The simplest variant includes sensors that warn about the approach of an obstacle by sound or color indication. In expensive versions, you can meet rear-view cameras with a grid to determine the distance to the obstacle. The presence of all such devices does not mean that you do not need to learn to feel the dimensions of the car. This feeling gives a sense of confidence and pleasure from the trip. Don't be lazy and do exercises using all your electronics. If you just got your license or bought a new car, you should not neglect additional training and wait for the first incident. Pay as much attention to the exercises as possible, and soon you and your car will become one. In conclusion, developing a keen sense of your car's dimensions is essential for safe and accident-free driving. By understanding the size and space your vehicle occupies, you can navigate tight spots, judge distances accurately, and make better decisions on the road. Remember, awareness of your surroundings and your vehicle's capabilities can significantly reduce the risk of collisions. Stay vigilant, Practice regularly and prioritize safety to ensure a smooth driving experience. Thank you for watching and drive safely.